Hi everyone, this is Michelle Kane with Michelle Kane Photography in Actions. This video tutorial we're going to cover how to do a light and airy kind of look to your image. I'm going to go pretty fast so I can fit this into a smaller video, so hang on tight and we'll get going. First I'm going to start by addressing this dark area on her arm, and I know that it's going to pose a problem later on down the road by getting a little too dark and probably a little too red. So first things first, I'm going to come up into my Heart and Soul set, and we're working with the Heart and Soul and Creative Heart Actions today, but the Heart and Soul set has the digital makeup in there, and we're going to pick the Fake and Bake. And this Fake and Bake is going to remove some of that orange color. It's going to tell us to paint in with a white brush to get that effect out. I'm going to grab a 20% opacity brush by hitting the 2 key on my keyboard, and I've actually dropped that, or I increased that up to 80%, and I'm just taking it over and painting on her arm. Now you can see in the layers palette it's transferred over into this layer mask, the white's where I've painted. Let's click that on and off so we can see how much lighter and devoid of color we've kind of gotten. So that's going to be a little bit better for us as the edit progresses. I just kind of saw that one coming, so I want to fix that before we get too far. Then we're going to give the picture an overall boost. So dropping down into the Creative Heart set, I'm going to hit Bland to Brilliant. It's in the Simple section there. And Bland to Brilliant gives us an overall just little pop to the picture. And you know, for simple editors who don't like to do a whole lot to their pictures, you know, you can really, if you have a good out of camera picture, just do Bland to Brilliant and you're good to go. It's got everything you need in there pretty much for a nice little pop. Let's click that eyeball on and off. So before Bland to Brilliant, dull. After Bland to Brilliant, real nice. So Bland to Brilliant played at 100%, we're going to go with that. Then I want to darken these edges up just a little bit. We're going to go with a light airy look, but I still want the edges to have some pop to them. So let's go down into the rich set here in the Creative Heart, and I'm going to hit Plush Color and hit play. And this is just playing one action right on top of the other. This is going to tell us to remove it from the sections that get too dark and too intense. And I think I will drop this opacity of Plush Color from 70 as it plays down to maybe about 45. And this is just, you know, mostly again for our background. So I'm going to take my black brush, which I've already have selected. I'm going to grab a 50% opacity brush, and I'm going to begin to remove this Plush Color from her skin where it got a little too intense. Our goal isn't to have her have overly crazy dark skin, but rather to have nice light normal skin, have the background pretty dark. The other place I'm going to remove it is going to be from the corner of the picture into her, so we can have some directional light kind of hitting on her and shaping up the darkness in the picture. I'm going to switch the color of my brush from black now back to white by hitting the X key on my keyboard. Now we can paint this Plush Color back in. I'm going to hit the 2 key, and which is going to take me to a 20% opacity brush. And I'm going to bring some of this back in on our cheeks, because we run the risk of having her cheeks get too flat. The dimension in her face starts to flatten out if we don't put some of this darkness back in. So let's click this Plush Color on and off, and that really gave us some richness. Here's where we started. Here's where we're at currently. Again, could end there. Could be a nice edit. We're going to keep going though, and the next thing I want to do is Flawless Face. Now this happens on almost all my pictures, and it is up in the Heart and Soul. We're going to hit in the digital makeup, Flawless Face, hit play. And this one takes a little bit longer. You'll notice that if you run your Photoshop in 64-bit, this might actually take longer to run than in 32-bit. And it's going to do some softening up for us. Now I'm going to put this on the background, I'm going to put this a little bit on her skin, and we're going to create kind of a creamy, soft sort of feel to her. It's going to tell us to use a white brush to go ahead and brush this in. Again, I'm going fast so we can get this all in on this video. I'm going to come in here with about a 50% opacity brush, maybe 40 actually, and just begin to put some of this Flawless Face in. We don't want to smooth her out to where she's devoid of any texture and she's just way too smooth and creamy. She already had beautiful skin to begin with, but this is just kind of softening things up just a touch more. If you go too far in one direction, make sure you grab that black brush and reverse it out. Zooming out, we're going to smooth out some of this background as well. I'm going to amp up my brush opacity to 80 just to get that corner really creamy. Now I shot this shallow depth of field, so we've already got this blurry background happening. If you want those dreamy, creamy backgrounds, shoot a shallow depth of field. You know, pick your lenses and your shooting style appropriately so you aren't trying to fake this blur too much, because it will look really bad. So Flawless Face, let's click this on and off, and it does help to smooth things out quite a bit on her skin. I'm going to leave these little dark parts under her eye because they're not crazy dark, and if you start to remove too much of that, they're going to look like aliens. They're not going to look right. So again, we could end the edit there. It would be just fine. We're going to come up and do something a little bit different here. We're going to go lighter, and we've got options. If you drop down to the Delicates part of the Creative Heart set, you can pick just about any of these, minus maybe Moonlight, and you're going to get kind of a light, airy feel to the picture. So we're going to pick Euphoria and hit play. And once that's done, I'm going to drop this Euphoria opacity clear down, and now just start to amp it up just to maybe 20% so I can see her pretty skin there. It gives a nice little light creaminess to the picture. And then the other thing that we're going to play is Warm Air. And we're just playing these one on top of the other. And once this plays out, it gives us kind of a tone sort of feel in the picture. We can open up Warm Air, open up the airy tones inside, and look at maybe taking some of these tones in or out. Maybe we don't want some of these specific tones on there. I think I'm going to leave it as is as Warm Air plays, and maybe just take this opacity down to somewhere around 40%. 36. That sounds good. Alright, so a couple of last minute things. These are kind of optional. I think we have a pretty good picture going on here, but just very quickly, if we want to come in, give our eyes a little bit of pop, we're going to go back up to the Heart and Soul, get in the digital makeup, and we're going to hit Glisten. Now Glisten's going to brighten and sharpen, and we're going to give our eyes just a little bit of pop. And again, with the white brushes, this is just painting our effects where we want them and keeping them out where we don't. I'm just coming in basically where her catch lights are, and she's a blue-eyed person, so a nice little pop on her color part will look good. Just a tiny little zip over the teeth. Not necessary, she's got perfect teeth, but we're just going to give her a little sharpness there. And I think we're pretty good. The last thing I'm going to add in here just very quickly is one last tone. And the tone that I'm going to go with, I think is going to be Raspberry Lemonade. This has kind of been a favorite of people's. And once this one plays out, I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take the Lemonade. No, I'm going to take the Sweetened. I think I'll take the Sweetened out of there. Yeah, we'll take the Sweetened off. And just turning the eyeball off, close it up, take the whole action, and you know what? I'm going to turn the Sweeten back on because I kind of like that pinkish tone that's going on. We're going to amp that baby up again. I like it for the background, so here's what we're going to do. Not for her skin, but pretty much for the background. Take this layer mask and invert it. And you can go up to, in CS5, you can go up to invert, or you can just hit Command or Control I, and your layer mask switches to a black concealing mask. So with a white brush, always opposite color brushes than your mask, we're going to start to paint this in just around the edges. And this is going to brighten things up, kind of give it a little bit of lighter tone in there. And we'll come in on our face just a tiny little ounce. That's it. Edit from start to finish. Let's go back to the background. Pretty Doll, working our way up. Anti-Fake and Bake, Bland Brilliant, Plush Color, Flawless Face, Euphoria, tones it, Warm Air, tones it, Glisten for her eyes, and finally Raspberry Lemonade. Nice, light, airy, creamy, pretty, and natural. Thanks so much for joining us. If you want more information on the HeARTy actions, you can go to my website, michelleKanePhotography.com/photoblog. And from there, click on the Actions tab. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful, blessed day.